Welcome back, everybody. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean. We are back because it is Man United News Roundup time. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. I'm going to be honest with you. This Saturday, it has not felt like Saturday. I don't know about you guys, but it's felt like it's like Thursday or something to me all day. You never get that kind of feeling where you're like, it doesn't feel like a Saturday, but it's also felt like 5 or 6 o'clock for about the last 5 hours. I can't believe it's only 4 o'clock. That's insane. I've been exhausted. This day is dragging on, man. It got to be even like 2, and I was like, all right, I've done laundry, I've worked out, I've done dog stuff, I've done dishes. And I'm like, how is it only 2 o'clock? It's been an insane day, but hopefully your day is going well. It's been nice fall weather here. I love fall. Fall is my favorite time of the year. But I'm looking forward to it. But we got a lot of news to talk about today. Some of it has raised a couple questions for me, and I want to pose those questions to you. If you guys couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we're talking a little transfer news. We're talking about some interesting thing happening at some other Big Six club. I want to know your thoughts on goalkeepers, obviously. So that's what we're doing. Meyer Carrizo, by the way, you guys remember I scouted him a while ago, plays for Vélez Sarsfield in Argentina League. He's currently playing in a cup final for Vélez. If you guys want to watch him in action, I believe it's halftime so far, but he's starting on that right wing. Good little player. So if you guys want to get a chance, don't leave here. Go watch it in 2 screens. Put it in picture if you want to. But yes, like the video, please. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to get stuck in. Check those memberships to learn how you can get involved in all sorts of content we put out as well, just like the scouting report special that dropped late last night. Go check that one out as well. Tons of new designs in the UVE store as well. Go check that one. I just put a new one up yesterday, so check that out as well. And then yeah, check out GoGoalShop. You guys will notice I am rocking this year's third. This literally just came in the mail today. I thought I'd give it a test drive. This is this third from this year. GoGoalShop has these now in the fan and the authentic versions. They do have them in the long sleeve and in women's sizes as well. But this thing, gotta tell you, it's growing on me. It's growing on me. It looks really, really good. It fits really nice. I like the way the colors pop. I'm feeling it. As you can see, I'm a fan of the old school, but this one definitely has a bit of an old school vibe in it. So it's growing on me for sure. But for those prices at GoGoalShop, I mean, I couldn't pass it up. And honestly, you guys can get $5 off by using that code. They'd hook me up. So use the code when you register. You get $5 off, including this. This is only like $26. So I'm telling you guys, GoGoalShop. You can go get like 5 shirts for the price of 1 at the club shop, man. It's freaking legit, man. Big up, you guys. Danny says it does look good. It feels good, man. I feel good. And it's got the piping still on the sleeves too, which I like too. Big up. Yeah, he was balling out, man. He's having a really good game for Vélez today. So we'll see who's getting caught up in the chat here. Rob, big up. Rob says Onana out, no return flight, please. Yeah, I'll just get him out. I'm just who's gonna order the cake for the party? I'll bring the beer. Who's bringing the cake? You guys, someone else bring the fireworks, and we will celebrate because this is a auspicious day that he's potentially leaving the club. So let's get stuck in, you guys. Like, subscribe. Hey, like the video if you hate Luis Suarez, by the way, because surprise, surprise, Luis Suarez did something he shouldn't have done. Not like that ever happens, right? Spitting on the staff member for the opposition club, I believe, and now he has got himself a 6-match ban. Ooh, 6. He got more than that last time he bit somebody, or I think he got more than that for his racist remark. It's not enough. 6-match ban for this kid is not enough, for real. Don't let him fool you either. And like I read his stupid statement that he put out. Don't let him fool you into, oh, it's a heat of the moment. It was a mistake. It doesn't like. Once is a mistake. Twice, that's a choice. This many times in someone's career, that is a pattern of problematic, quite frankly, just disturbing behavior. And it doesn't belong anywhere in your football. It barely belongs anywhere in your life, period. How many chances is this racy, bitey prick going to get, for real? And how dare, like, Luis Suarez, I'm talking directly to you, New. Like, sorry for ranting, guys, but I have to say this. You guys know I hate this when people do this. How dare you bring up your family? Like, and say like, oh, it's never good when my family suffers because of my actions. How dare you bring up your family and try to use them as a shield to garner sympathy because of this nonsense, man? Absolutely cowardly and transparent behavior from this asshole. I don't care if you're a Liverpool fan. I don't care if you're a Barcelona fan. I don't care if you're an Inter Miami fan, which probably means you're also a Barcelona fan. The guy is a piece of shit. Like, and you guys know I'm typically not like this, but Luis Suarez is an absolute prick. He deserves a lifetime ban. He deserves forced retirement from football. No ambassador role, no nothing. The guy is scum. He's absolute scum, and I'm freaking done with it. Rant over, done. So, uh, all right. Are they linked with him? Who aren't City linked with? Do they not have him? Like he'll probably go to like Girona first, and then they'll probably score him that way, Danny. Yeah, spitting on someone is just disgusting behavior. Like absolute freaking idiot stick, man. Yeah, what is it with them and spitting, Rob? For real? Is it like just how they speak in Liverpool? Like it's just like that's their language. I have to go get Duolingo and it's just hi, bye. Like I don't understand. It's so weird. People are weird, man. All right, no more time wasted on that asshole. Let's move on. So starting off, you guys let me know what you think about this. We got a new format coming up for the international break starting next year. This has been put out by FIFA. This is what they had to say. It's a bit on here, so I'll read it out to you. So FIFA has revised its schedule moving forward, meaning there will be only 3 international windows per season following next year's World Cup. The governing body plans to merge the September and October windows into one extended break, giving priority to international football over club commitments during that time. A longer 16-day international window will take place from September 21st to October 6th next year, allowing each nation to play up to 4 matches. That will be followed by the usual 9-day 2-match windows in November and March, ensuring countries play the same number of games while reducing the disruption to club football. I think that you guys let me know what you think about this. So basically, they're saying less international breaks, which I like, but again, they're making the first one longer. So same number of matches, fewer breaks, and the first one's going to be a 3-week thing. So we get 3 weeks off next fall, next October or next September for this nonsense. What are you guys' thoughts on this new the fact? You guys know how I feel like when you have to change stuff so many times, it doesn't mean to me that just screams that it's like you just don't know what you're doing almost. And I think the fact that I always look like footballers and like the staff and everything, they really need to come first when it comes to the strain put on them. And when you've got so many managers and so many players coming out and basically complaining about how much football is being played, the expansion of the Champions League, expansion of the Europa League, expansion of the World Cups, like that's too much football. The human body can literally only take so much. We had Bruno upwards of like between 60 and 70 matches in a calendar year. That's insane. That's insane. Like it's ridiculous, man. Well, you guys let me know what you think. Didn't we mention him on the channel once before, Danny? I feel like we mentioned him in the past, if I can't remember. Let's see. Agile, welcome back. He says, I think this is overall a good idea, making it longer. Gives the majority of the players a break, and that'll be better. I would love it if they, cool if it's longer, but, I would love it if there was a little bit more rotation. Like, players could only play, 2 of these matches or something during that. If they're going to play, 3 matches during that longer window, every player can only play a max of two matches or something. I don't know, man. You guys know I'm club before country every single day when it comes to shit like this. I hate international breaks. I hate this one. I don't watch the international football. I have no plans to. I just hope and pray that nobody gets injured. They come back and, perform for the club that pays their wages and not for the bullshit qualifiers. So I think it's absolutely nonsense. It's just money grab. Rob says the current World Cup qualifiers in Europe is strange. Ireland having their first group game tonight. Teams in other groups already played 5 games. Yeah, we've already got teams that are qualifying. Didn't Morocco officially qualify now? Aren't they the first club that qualified too? So, yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. Qualifiers I can tolerate a little bit more than Nations League nonsense, because Nations League, they used to just be called friendlies and now they're just called Nations League. It's the same fucking thing, man. But big up, Agile. Welcome back, dude. Dave says it is a pain in the balls. It really is, man. I'm so tired of it. Oh boy. Johnny Hill, welcome back. Says I'm not about to enjoy that nice weather and the kebabs. It's crazy though how we took Bayindir from Turkey and now sending his brother there. Well, I'm surprised that a club yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I'm surprised bigger clubs. I mean, yes, Onana is shit, but I'm just surprised that bigger clubs aren't in for him. I don't mean Bayern Munich or something, but at least maybe one of the bigger Turkish clubs. No offense to the ones in question. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But welcome back, Johnny. Good to see you again, my friend. Yeah, get your thoughts in on all this World Cup qualifying expansion on revamped format, format that we're going to be doing next year, because fewer breaks, but that first one is now 3 weeks instead of two. So it just means I get to find more fun content to put out there next year to break up the monotony and the lull of international football. So you guys have that to look forward to. We're going to be doing some wild shit. It's going to get freaking weird out here. I'm talking reaction videos. I'm talking, let's put a GoPro on my dog's collar and like walk around the yard with a ball or something. Some crazy shit, dude. Freaking nerds. Agile wants to know, what's worse, international break in June or the September one? Depends on what you look for. If you're looking for like strain on the players and like them actually getting a break, you probably say June. If you're looking at like, if I'm looking at it through the lens of like United, I definitely don't like this first September one, because I don't like how they break up momentum, especially when you've got 4 matches in all competitions, and then immediately you got to stop for 2 weeks, and it just puts everything on hold. And so soon after you starting the season, you've got players now who you're trying to get into your preseason, get into their patterns and their rhythm, get them used to the system. And then they go and leave and go on international break, and then got to start the process almost all over again. It's so annoying. I can't stand international football sometimes, dude. It's freaking annoying, man. Yeah, they do both suck for the players. Oh, big up, Lucky. Good to see you, says Glazers out fan. Yes, appreciate that. So there's that. You guys get your thoughts in on that. I will take that off the screen and move on. So Daniel Levy has left Tottenham Hotspur. If you guys haven't seen that nonsense, I haven't got a chance to check in with you guys yet. So what are your thoughts on Daniel Levy leaving Spurs? It's a bit after 25 years now. It's so interesting, right? Because if you just look at it on its surface, right, it's very easy to look at that and say, well, they've won so much under Levy's guidance, or whatever you want to call it, like he's a manager or something. Like, I mean, commercially, he probably helped them get into a position where they were able to strengthen and do some of the things they did. They did win some trophies. They did do pretty well. They turned them pretty much into a top 6. They're part of the big 6. They've been to Champions League and stuff, like, and they weren't really qualifying for champion. Now, whether or not that has anything really to do with Levy or not is up for debate. I think it's very easy to just be like, well, he was here, and that must mean that he had a part. It's correlation. It's not causation. It's a simplification to kind of look at it that way. But I think that when this news broke, I think a lot of people immediately looked to the Glazers and were like, see, he left. Fuck off, dude. Rob says, thank you for your service. Can we attribute like the Spursy phrase to him too, since he was there during that time? It's ridiculous, dude. Danny thinks Spurs will be a force next decade. Yeah, but like, it's not like they're doing amazing. They registered like one shot or so or something against Bournemouth, and this was a guy under a manager who's been in the English football for a long time, but you won't hear anybody criticize them at all. We've had so many shots for us, and yes, that a lot of them have failed to find the target. I get that, but I think and I just retweeted something online about this, but like, just the bias, man. If you just want further evidence, the bias. No one's talking about Pep. No one's talking about Thomas Frank or anything. Like, everyone talks about Amorim, even though we won going into the international break. So it's just ridiculous, dude. We'll see. But Agile says he makes Ed Woodward look like the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz. Oh boy. Yeah, Levy he's notoriously a bit of a hard ass when it comes to negotiations. I don't think he helped Pochettino out very well. I mean, you can't, like, that whole stadium situation really, really hurt Poch, especially after he got them to a Champions League final. And then to turn around and not really help him out the following season that was a bit shitty, in my opinion. Didn't really help matters. Again, it just felt like more of a commercial thing. It definitely had a stink of a Glazers-nomics about that one, but it's interesting. 25 years is a long time. I think that there's some that'll say, the club is, there's opportunity. The club is maybe turning a corner, like Danny's sort of implying. There might be a force to be reckoned with. Who knows? all it takes is a couple bad decisions, and it's, as we've seen at United, and it's hard to pull yourself out of that hole. You really have to get some of those decisions right, and for well over a decade, we have gotten each one wrong because they weren't made from the right place. They were all reactionary, all surface level, all how can we make decisions with as little investment, as little energy, as little time, a little work as possible. Let's just get this manager, let's get this player. There was never any actual foundational stuff to do, and it's really unfortunate. It's like inheriting the house you grew up in and then only painting the walls instead of actually like, all right, we need to replace this furnace, we need to dig out this appliance and stuff. Like you got to do wholesale stuff. Yes, its house has been in your family for generations, but at the same time, like you have to replace foundational stuff if you want to really maintain it and see it thrive. So it is what it is. Rob says Spurs will have the same owner, so maybe not much will change. I mean, I haven't heard much about the owner. All we ever hear about is Daniel Levy, right? So how much involvement is their owner even have? It's hard to think of someone having less involvement than the Glazers have. But hey, it is. Lucky, I always have time for a city bashing comment. So big up, Lucky. I hope you're doing well, dude. Lucky thinks Pep's going to get sacked. I mean, like you guys saw in the Kickabout special from this past week, when we looked at our season predictions, some of our hot takes, I did predict that City would get punished. I don't know what that punishment's going to be, but they will get punished, and I think that could open a can of worms. Go back and watch that video if you guys haven't done so yet. I had a lot of fun rating the transfer window and everything. Keep a lookout tomorrow, too, for the next episode of What If. I think that's going to drop overnight as well. But yeah, Daniel Levy out of Spurs. Interesting stuff. Let me move this up here. So moving on to some United news. So a little bit of a flippy floppy going on right now with the women's team. We brought in Jess Parker from Man City. She's a newest addition to the women's team who kick off tomorrow morning against Leicester at like 7 a.m. by the way, if you guys want to watch that. But so cool, we got a player from City, always feels good. But the shit of it is that Grace Clinton left United to go to Man City. And like a lot of former women's players in the past, and even coaches and whatnot too, didn't really have a whole lot of positive things to say about the club on her way out the door. Delivered a little bit of a parting shot on her way out, saying, this is what she had to say. This has been a very difficult decision for me because of the love I have for my teammates and for you, the fans. However, I feel the future of the club and I aren't on the same page. That's what Grace Clinton had to say on her way out the door, basically just blowing the lid off of shit. And she's not the first player to kind of, you could say, feel that way, and even the coach, like Casey Stoney, not had great things to say about the club. And even if you didn't hear anybody say it, just looking at it from an optics standpoint, even from as far back as when the women's team was founded, they've kind of been treated like shit. So I'm not concerned necessarily about departures. I'm concerned about the why the people are leaving and the lack of kind of just care that the club puts towards the women's team. But it is what it is on that one. Let me guys know what you think about Grace Clinton's comments, because they're not going to sit well with people who already are not really happy with the club. So let's see. Yeah, dude, their recruitment is shit, dude. And how much money? I mean, literally, nine or 10 players since January? They bought 4 players in January, bought 4 or 5 this summer. And, like, they literally, like, it's almost a whole new starting 11. They 2 keepers for some reason. They spent a lot of money on keepers. And, like, that's it. Like, even, like, go back for the last couple of years. I mean, selling Cole Palmer, they don't get enough shit for that, to be honest with you. Gvardiol, not a great defender, but no one cares because he pops up with a goal now and then. But and then, like, that doesn't even touch upon the Jack Grealish situation. Like, no one wants to look at how well Jack Grealish has been doing at Everton and say, well, what's wrong with City? City are the problem. They're glad to do that when it's United. They make whole articles. Sky will talk about it for a fucking week when someone leaves United and goes score a goal. They couldn't get enough of Anthony. They were wanking into a hanky all 6 months last year when Anthony went to Real Betis and was doing well. Jack Grealish goes to Everton and he's balling out already. You won't hear a fucking peep, even though they dropped $100 million on the kid. You won't hear a peep about that. Not the fact that Fred outscored him in the league his first season at City. You don't hear anything about that. One of the biggest flops I've ever seen, arguably bigger than Jadon Sancho, but no one will care because he was part of the winning squad. He's still shit. He's got 2 moves: roll over to draw foul, or roll over to pass back to my defender. It's the only thing I've ever seen Jack Grealish do in a City shirt, aside from look like a fucking soccer mom from the 90s with that haircut, dude. Seriously. Um, let's see what you see. Rob says, I've seen it suggested that they're buying players for life after Pep. I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, that any club should be looking into the future. Any club should be prepared at any point in time if things don't go well. This is a big part of why I think we're moving more towards a mentality, a physicality, an assertiveness, an attitude, and a versatility kind of focus when it comes to new players. Because these players that we're bringing in can play multiple systems. They can play multiple positions. Ahmad, he can play as a 10. He can play as a winger. Cunha can play as a winger, can play as a striker. You've got Dorgu, who can play right, left, wingback, fullback. You can do a lot of things. And I think that, let's say, like, hypothetically Amorim was sacked tomorrow and we brought in someone who played like Nagelsmann, who maybe could get sacked from Germany, who knows, and he drops in and plays a 4-2-3-1. The players can do that. We have the players for that as well. They can play multiple roles. Now they can barely play a 3-4-3, but it is what it is. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to plan for a lot of these different contingencies, while also building for who you have at the helm, if that makes sense. Good evening, Sanjay. Good, big up, man. Good to see you. Um, you guys are funny. Let's see what y'all are saying. Agile thinks Calvin Phillips is a bigger flop than Grealish, to be fair. I mean, if you look at the money and the hype, that's where we're coming from. It's kind of like Sancho. But let's not pretend that Calvin Phillips was anything other than a Fabian Delph replacement in terms of homegrown quota. That's literally what he was. He barely played. He was never fit. Like, he was only there to satisfy some quotas that they have because they lost Fabian Delph. They got to bring in someone else who satisfies that quota. I mean, I don't even know where Calvin Phillips is anymore. Last time I saw, wasn't he at Ipswich or something? I don't remember now. It is what it is, man. Bexy, welcome back, says, would you play Martinez as a CDM? I would, for sure. I've seen this a lot. He surely does have a lot of the qualities, right? If you think about it. But it's not like, I have a hard time playing players out of their natural position, if that makes sense. And you can say like, oh, he's played there. He played there maybe a couple times in his life, like years ago. It's not like that's as natural. That's like saying, oh, Frankie de Jong can play center back, like, because that's where he started. It's not. That's not how it works. I would want him to play as a left center back because he's the only center back that we have that ticks every single box you want in terms of the way we play from this system. Euro will probably get there, but Euro's still so young. Licha can do it. He's got the attitude. He's good on the ball. He can pick a pass. I like a lot when he's got, like, I think he's ideal for the system we play. I wouldn't want to take that away to put him in that 6 role. Now, he could in a pinch, and again, in Amorim's system, the center back, the center one does move up to become basically part of the pivot, while that other 6 kind of moves forward a little bit, the more creative 6. But it's really a situational kind of thing. I just like Licha in the back. I feel confident and comfortable when he's there, more so than Shaw. And that's just me, though. But again, you never know what could happen with Licha. He can have a hard time staying fit, as far as I know. But Johnny says, if we did a 4-2-3-1, not going to lie, I'd still be selling Dallo and Bruno. Dallo for sure, man. Yes, Rob, big up. Thank you for the plug, man. Yes, hit that like button, subscribe. Appreciate that, you guys. Let me know what you think about the new kit. Just got this from GoGoalShop, this year's 3rd. Just got here in the mail today. It's growing on me. I had my reservations when I saw it, but it looks really nice and it feels nice, so I'm happy with it. But let me know what you guys think. He does have good passing variety. That's also why I want him in that left-sided center back role, because you saw last season before he got injured, he was the one finding the strikers. He was the one finding the runs from Højlund. He was the one really driving that ball forward. And I don't want to lose that by shoehorning him into midfield, if that makes sense. We have a lot of defenders. I think when everyone's fit, if Licha can stay fit, he's probably going to get the nod over someone like Mizraoui, or probably, I don't know. We've got a little bit of depth. Some people would say drop Ahmad right now and start Mizraoui on the right wing back. In some games, you probably could do that. It's nice that we're able to think about that kind of stuff now. So, Lucky is TalkSport crying over Lindelof. Are they really? Oh boy, Talks to the same talk sport who sat here probably for the last several years and criticized him, calling him not fit for English football. Of course, man. Rob says, shirt looks great. Is it official or is it copy? This is from GoGoalShop, so you guys know it's not like I got it from the club shop. But GoGoalShop, when it comes to the, I guess you can call them knockoffs or whatever, it's about the best that I've seen. I've looked around at other sites, whether that's, like your DH Gates or whatnot. GoGoalShop is legit. I really do like them a lot. And best part is you don't have to drop 100, 130 on a shirt. So, and even better, you do get $5 off if you use that code when you register. But you definitely can't tell the difference, man. I've gotten a couple of them from GoGoalShop. Johnny says, with the Cunha injury, do you think Amorim will move Bruno to the 10 and then play Manu? Or do you think we'll do the boring thing, which is move Ahmad into the 10 just so we could put Dallo there? Couldn't tell you. I mean, supposedly Cunha looks pretty fine. We'll see if, another week goes by, how he's feeling. He might not risk him. He might start him from the bench. But again, don't forget Xerxes. We still don't really, I haven't seen any updates on Mount yet. So if somebody has, let me know. But I wouldn't mind seeing Kobe playing in the 10 personally. I think that he could do really well there, but it's not my call. You could also throw Bruno up there and maybe put Kobe in the 10 or in the deeper role. There's a lot of things you can do. This is what I meant when I said versatile. We have a lot of versatile players here. Bexley says, I hope Lemons has good communication. Well, he definitely commands his box. He literally was like top 1% for crosses stop last season. He's excellent in terms of the box. So Johnny says, I have the same shirt, but got Cunha on the back. Big up. Yeah, I haven't gotten a shirt with a name on the back in a very long time. Usually when I do that, it's like an original, like one of these, and there's more over here and stuff, but they go in frames. And so I don't like, I try to minimize the amount of extra things I have to worry about when I wash these. I'm very meticulous. I turn them inside out. I put them in a little mesh bag. I put them on the delicate cycle and I hang them to dry because I don't want to, trying to extend the life of these is as long as I can. So I'm a bit anal when it comes to stuff like that. But Rob does, yeah, Villa are going to struggle. I think Bournemouth are going to struggle. I think Brentford are going to struggle. Like, again, go back and watch that video. Dylan and I did share a little bit of who we could see getting relegated this season, where we see United finishing, all that kind of stuff. If you got a couple hours to kill, it's a good video to watch. Really happy with the involvement from you guys who joined in that live. Onana on the back. I like to see the back of Onana, but I'm not putting him on the back here. I'll buy an Onana shirt if it guarantees he leaves. I'll buy one tomorrow. I'll get the authentic version from the club site and get it if it guaranteed he would leave tomorrow. It'd be excellent. Let's see. Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about some deadline day stuff, because we got a couple little bits and pieces that came out these last couple of days regarding some last minute moves that United had planned or some nearly done deals. Starting with that failed deadline day loan approach that we made for Conor Gallagher. Did you guys see this? That we went in for Conor Gallagher and Atletico Madrid didn't want to just do a loan. I think it was 40 million or so, 40, 50 million they had quoted us at. I think he still has a couple years left on his contract. Now, I don't know what you guys think about Conor Gallagher. I've seen Chelsea fans kind of split on when it comes to their opinions on Conor Gallagher. I think that I was just talking to Justin about this yesterday while I was kicking the ball around for about an hour. Yeah, I literally talked to Justin for an hour and a half while I was kicking the ball around. It was insane. But I've seen Chelsea fans who don't like Conor Gallagher. I've seen Chelsea fans who do. And then I feel like half of the people who do rate Conor Gallagher, the Chelsea fans, were also happy to see him go if it meant, they got someone like Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez. They're like, oh, we love you, Conor. Oh, sorry, we getting these guys. Bye, Conor. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's got the attitude and the physicality of an Ugarte, but I think he is a little bit better on the ball than Ugarte, if that makes sense. So I do like Conor Gallagher. I've always rated him. I thought when he was on loan at Crystal Palace, he was their player of the year easily. He was stellar for Crystal Palace while he was on loan. Again, when you go through so many different managers at Chelsea, it's hard for anybody to really stand out or look consistent personally. But he wouldn't be my first choice. A loan move wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. It would have meant we at least got a midfielder, but I don't know if that loan would have been made mandatory. If it were made mandatory, I think that, and if it impacted our business for midfielders in the future, I probably would have said no. But a loan for Conor Gallagher wouldn't have been the worst thing at all. Let's see. Bex says, Onana gone. United stand on the thumbnail said he did. I mean, you know how thumbnails work by now. They are there to engage and draw you in, basically. That's why, I mean, they all do that. That's what we do. I'm guilty of it too. Usually I'll be good and I'll put question marks because I never want to just say one way or the other if something's happening. But that's just the way thumbnails work. We know it's like headlines in newspapers. We know by now what we can expect. So Danny says Conor Gallagher is a good player, but not what we need. Interesting. Well, what do we need maybe? Agile says, I'm not a fan of buying Gallagher, maybe on loan. Well, the loan is what we approached Atletico with, and they didn't want to do that. They would rather just do the full sale. So, and like Danny says, I'd rather get someone like Anderson, João Gomez. Yeah, and we're doing a video towards when we get closer to like November-ish and whatnot. I'll probably go ahead and do like a January deal video, and I wait till then because you have to see what the table situation looks like. What clubs are struggling, can you poach players and whatnot. I've already started putting that list together. The list probably will include a player that was on yesterday's scouting report special simply because of contract situations. So, and that's also something to look forward to. People who are currently in the final year of their contract or people who next summer will go into the final year. Maybe you can work something out. So, but I'll do that video when we get to that point as well. So can't go too soon on that stuff because you don't want to jump the gun on any of that stuff. Lucky says, Sean, how do you feel like match going to West Ham versus Tottenham? You're going to go watch the match in London? That was one of the options when Justin and I went, was maybe on away day in London when we played West Ham last year, but it didn't end up happening that way. But I going to a United match away is something that I still want to try to do. I hear it's really excellent to be a part of like a couple thousand traveling United fans. So it all just depends on schedule. You guys know I try to get in 2 matches when I go, so I don't go unless I can get in 2 matches, and it's really hard to find back-to-back home matches that are within like 3 days of each other, especially when you're not in European competition. It's damn near impossible. So we got really lucky this year with like the whole festive schedule, but it's really difficult too. So, but that's the only way I can justify it because it's not really worth it to spend money on the airfare and the Airbnb just to go to one match. So I try to squeeze in as many matches as I can, whether that's the FA Youth Cup like we did this year, Salford match, women's team. Try to get as much in as you can. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm always down for footy, man. No matter what, it's always a good time. Rob says, wouldn't have minded him on loan. Yeah, I wouldn't on loan. Perfect, awesome. I just don't think that that's what they wanted. So Johnny would not have wanted Gallagher because it would have given the club an excuse to not go for Baleba in January. I doubt we're going to get Baleba in January, whether or not Fabrizio says we might go for it. I doubt it's going to happen. Unless Brighton are literally like never going to like they're going to get relegated or something, or if he just flat out puts in a transfer request or something, that's not going to happen. I think we could get a midfielder in January. I don't think it's going to be Baleba. I'm just trying to be realistic. Pick up I Am Titanium. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. CRM, welcome. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Hit that like button. Subscribe, you guys, if you are new. Check those memberships as well. It says, good to see the club learning to get rid of the deadwood. Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot about that because it's been pretty ruthless in many, many ways. Now, that doesn't mean we got the best deals we possibly could have and not just even from a fee standpoint. It's just like even going back as far as December, just with the Rashford, Garnacho, your bench, you're not in the squad. That kind of ruthless, that kind of like hard boundary of like, no, you're not acting right. You need to fix up or you can fuck off. And this is where you're going to go do it. Sit on the bench, watch the match, and you support your teammates. So we will see what happens there. Big up everyone just catching up here. Lucky West Ham versus Spurs. I don't know. West Ham, I would love it if West Ham did win, Lucky, just because I think that I'd like to see if the media go in on Thomas Frank at all, but I doubt it. Who do you want to win, Lucky? Let me know. CRM says, with Casemiro leaving next season, adds up now with club not spending on a new midfielder. They want to save money. Considering the wages that Casemiro is on, next summer frees up money anyway. Well, we did supposedly put an offer in for Baleba. Brighton just didn't want to sell. They didn't even give a price, and so it would take a lot of money. Supposedly we were in for it, but if Baleba is our top choice, we'll probably go in for him again next summer. I still think we could see someone come in January because I think Bruno realistically could leave next summer. Casemiro is going to be free. Who knows what's going on with Kavi? Ugarte probably needs to be sold. So again, we've got 4 midfielders, none of whom are really doing the job. One of whom is still too young, really. Two of them could very easily leave. Casemiro is a dead cert pretty much to leave. And so I do think next summer could be the summer of maybe, who knows, maybe we could pull Liverpool, bring in 4 midfielders in one summer, despite their fans saying they never spend money, the fucktwits. So who knows, man? You never know. But I do appreciate the input. Johnny says, Baleba performance, it seems like he's downing tools because he's annoyed he didn't get the move. I think it's too early, honestly, to say if anyone's downing tools. Just like I did not appreciate after 2 matches into the season that the media was turning this whole Kobbie Mainoo situation into a huge fucking deal. Literally 2 matches into the season, they were already doing this. Is before Grimsby Town, if you guys remember. Like, I think people just, the media and maybe fans and maybe content creators, they want stuff to talk about. They want sensational headlines and topics to talk about. And they just can't wait. You've seen it with, managers getting sacked. People are already talking, like, a couple matches in, to me, is just not enough time to really do anything. We've seen, like, Bruno struggle those first 2 matches, same as maybe Baleba has. We know what Bruno is. We know what he can do. He had a shit 2 matches. I said it. Those first 2 matches, he was arguably, especially Arsenal, he was our worst player. But that's a very, very tiny sample size to go off of. So we'll see what happens. I'm not too worried about that. Johnny, you might not have a choice, man. We're definitely going to be seeing Casemiro and Bruno all summer, all year. And it's not the worst thing. I don't think Casemiro's bad. He's not been horrible to start this season. He's definitely trimmed down even more. He looks fine. Obviously, he's not the quickest. He's never been the quickest, but he's got a good pass in certain situations and against certain opposition. And if you set him up in a certain way on a given day, I think he's just fine. As Rob says, Thomas Frank seems like the manager that everyone likes. Might change now that he's with Spurs. He did a great job with Brentford. Yeah, and sometimes it is a step too high. We'll see what happens. Spurs did a lot of business. He's the talk of the town. We'll see what happens, man. Bexy thinks Wharton is better than Baleba. I want both. I don't think they're the same profile of player. I would want both, if that makes sense. I look at Baleba as more of like, almost like like a Brozovic, someone who's physical, gets about, and then with some time in the space, he can pick a pass. Now, he's not known for his passing range, but that's why you put him next to someone like Wharton, and I think they complement each other. I put Wharton next to someone like Anderson, and people like that. Like, for instance, I think they would do a really good job. Someone like João Gomez would do really well alongside Adam Wharton, if that makes sense. Then he says, if Brighton have a huge price tag on Baleba and play hardball, I would pivot straight to Anderson. Yeah, I would easily go get Anderson. If you go get Anderson and Wharton, Anderson and Hackney, Danny, I think that would be, you can get Anderson and Hackney probably for like, you're probably, because Anderson, because of the whole price inflation that Newcastle and Forest worked out to circumvent PSR, you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more, but you'll probably get both of them for maybe like 75 million. And that be less than what you get for one, what you'd have to pay for one Baleba. So, and I think that would be a good midfield pairing too, personally. So Johnny says Richard Rios, Hackney seem like a cheap tap-in deals too. I mean, it is hard, right? We can look at a lot of players that we really like and want the club to sign, but again, that's where the club is going to make its decisions. They have players on their list. They have players they're looking for. They're not going to sign every player that we like. Can you imagine, if you look back at how many players we've done scouting reports on, how many players we love, they can't sign all of them. The club's got its list. They've got their priorities. They have a plan, hopefully, supposedly. We have to at least think that and wait and see how it happens. I've gotten past the point where I get frustrated every time United doesn't sign someone that I really like. I could have stopped being a fan a long time ago if that's the way I got. So I do think Hackney, Richard Rios could have been good. There are a lot of midfielders out there. You guys know, like, the vast majority of the scouting reports I've done in the last several months have been midfielders, and there's a lot of them out there. I put a list on the community tab like last month, and I've listed like 20 of them almost. There are a lot of midfielders. The market is saturated right now, so that's why I'm like, we don't need to go spend 100 plus on Baleba. He's good, but there are a lot of other midfielders out there who are just as good, who are probably less than half the price. So it's about just being smart with the money, if that's what it is. So let me scroll down a little bit here. Debasi, big up. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Damsgaard's underrated. Damsgaard, I remember Damsgaard at that World Cup. He had or was it the Euros where he kind of broke out and then he went to Brentford. I haven't really seen much of him. He is underrated. I do agree. He's definitely underrated. But would he be someone that you would like to see at the club? Let me know. Johnny says, I guess you're right. I just don't know how the club looked at Ugarte and said yes. Yeah, well, I mean, this was under Ten Hag. This was prior to Amorim. I do think I definitely see what they see in Ugarte. And if you look at his numbers from early last season under Ten Hag, Ugarte's ball progression was actually very good. He was well above average. And then it just sort of hit a like a barrier, like hit a wall. And he seemed to get worse, especially towards the tail end of last season. Nobody's freaking out about Ugarte not getting any minutes later on in the season like they were about Mainu early this season. But I've always said I like Ugarte's attitude. I like his mentality. I do think that's something Ineos have done really well to bring to the club is players with that kind of mentality. And he's physical. He gets stuck in. If Ugarte's ball progression and his like composure was better, even just a level higher, I wouldn't worry as much. But he's kind of like Højlund, where what started bright, he's kind of regressed in some of those key areas. And you can't play in that kind of very delicate area of the pitch, like in your own kind of defensive third, and not be press resistant, not be composed, not have a good pass on you. Like he was struggling early on in the season. So he's going to have time now. He's going to have at least 6 months to turn it around. But I mean, I don't know, the writing might be on the wall. So we'll see how it goes. Arcam, welcome back. Good to see you, man. We were just talking a little bit about midfielders. I'm going to move in there to another one here a little bit. Because moving on from Conor Gallagher, so Duncan Castles reported that Barada and Wilcox actually held talks with Bournemouth over Antoine Semenyo. But apparently, according to Duncan Castles, Semenyo discovered that apparently the salary we were going to offer him was about less than 70% apparently of what we were going to pay Cunha and Mbumo, and decided that he didn't want to make the move because he wasn't going to get paid as much as Cunha and Mbumo were. So again, some players, it's not just about like I want money. Sometimes it's about I think I'm just as good, or even if not better than them. Why can't I get paid that much, kind of a thing. So if true, is that a problem for you guys? Would you guys have paid Semenyo as much as Cunha and Mbumo are getting paid? Do you guys not rate Semenyo? You guys let me know. I don't personally like. I would not put Semenyo on the same level as Mbumo and Cunha personally. Doesn't mean I think he's bad, but again, there's levels. It just is what it is. So, but does that mean that he shouldn't get paid as much? I don't know. Not up to me. Clearly, the club wasn't ready to do that. He didn't like that. Decided not to go. So, again, you always hear about it when we pay players a lot of money. You never want to hear about it, though, when the clubs don't want to pay a player too much money. So, unless you're Duncan Castles, apparently. So, big up Duncan for sharing the truth with everybody. Let's see here. So, Aaron says, what's the latest on Kone? So, he's back, I think, in individual training. He's recovering well. He's probably going to be wearing a mask for a hot second. And I've read rumors that say, the plan is to integrate him into the first team, maybe potentially later on in the season. We'll see. If there's anybody for sure that I think could come in and instantly kind of not necessarily start for the first team, but, definitely show us what he's about. I mean, I think him, like Fletcher, I think are the kind of players that we could be looking at. Kone is basically a little mini Baleba in many ways, a little mini, I don't want to say João Gomez because he doesn't have that kind of like pit bull mentality, but he's definitely got a bit of physicality to him, but he just wants to get on the ball. He's really good. I like that kid a lot. So, let's see. Danny says Semenyo couldn't hit a barn door. Yeah, he does need to turn it around, man. And if it's a confidence thing, then, I hope that he can talk to somebody that the club can say, hey, what's going on? What do you think is going on? How can we help you? What are some areas that you need to work on? Communication is always the best way to figure this out, man. It is what it is. But again, if you believe like Les Ferdinand, who spoke for like the last couple hours of my PFA course on Wednesday, he said you can't talk to young players anymore. They're all they have weak mentalities, and so he's like, it's just no, they want to hear it. They don't want to hear it at all. I don't know. Maybe Ugarte is like that. I have a hard time believing that. So. Arkham says they offered him the right amount of money, Semenyo. I'm glad they didn't pay him more than he deserved. We're paying the price of these players. We're starting to get rid of some of those players now. A fair few of them are walking for free and have walked for fee, whether it's like the Pogbas, the De Geas, the Varans, the Martials, the Casemiro. These guys are on big wages. walking for free, but we have trimmed that wage bill down. We had more than like half a dozen players going into the summer who were on more than like 200 or 225K a week, and now we're down to like two, maybe three. I don't know, remember off the top of my head. And that's a big deal. We're trying to trim that wage bill down, get it to a more sustainable. We're saving a lot of money. And I can't remember off the top of my head how much. Somebody will fill me out on the number in the chat, but we are saving a bit of money. So, Matt Hatter, you did not miss the entire stream. We're only a couple slides in. We're just talking about Semenyo not happy that we didn't offer him as much money as Cunha and Mbumo reportedly, and that's why he didn't want to move to United. So, big up, man. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Football Freak says, I love Semenyo, but he's just 20, maybe not worth the same amount. Yeah, and maybe that plays into it too. Like, bro, you're 6 years younger. Like, you're not, come on. You'll maybe get to that point, but they've been doing this a lot longer. So, I hear you, Andreas. Welcome back, man. Good to see you guys again. Guys, make sure you like and make sure you subscribe if you are new as well. So, on a potential outgoing here, so we're going to talk about Turkey a lot today, but there are reports from a couple of Turkish journalists, some guy named Reşat Can Ozbadak, if that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if you don't. That Eyüpspor, another Turkish club, have reportedly started negotiations for Tyrell Malacia. He was heavily linked, if you remember, to Elche. That collapsed in the final days of the transfer window. Now the Turkish window is still open for a bit. I'm pretty sure the Saudi club window is still open for a hot second. Now, reportedly, we had pushed for that loan to be made permanent, but at the end of next season. But Elche didn't want to do that; they only wanted the loan. So basically, kind of like what the Conor Gallagher stuff is, and that's why that move to Elche collapsed. But apparently, Turkish sides are still trying to strengthen. You can always rely on those Turkish clubs to come in and need some help. So maybe that's helping us out a little bit. So Malacia could go to Turkey. We don't know. We got another player we're going to talk about who could go to Turkey as well. And that is Andre Onana, because Romano had a little bit of an update about the recent rumors that some Turkish clubs are interested in Andre Onana. Now, this is what Romano had to say. Trabzonspor, one of the decent, like they're like the people's club over there, Trabzonspor. I've watched some crazy YouTube videos. I forget the channel now. Somebody will remind me. The guy, they go and explore like different rivalries throughout football. It'll come to me later on in the show, but there's one between Trabzonspor and another Turkish club that's pretty insane. But apparently Trabzonspor have reached a verbal agreement with United to sign Andre Onana on loan. So apparently we're okay with it. I'd love to see that made into a permanent move or an obligation. You guys know I don't want to be in the same situation next summer with a 29-year-old goalkeeper. Club-to-club verbal agreement in place. Final decision now up to Onana. It's only up to the goalkeeper, according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, The Athletic claims that Onana is open to the move. David Ornstein also adds that Trabzonspor want him in time for their match against Fenerbahce on the 14th, which is not that far away. You're looking at 8 days, a little more than a week now. So if Trabzonspor, they want to get this deal done early, up to Onana. I'm surprised that we're just doing the loan. I'm surprised that we wouldn't be some sort of an obligation. What are you guys' thoughts on Malacia Onana maybe going to Turkey? Let me get caught up in here. That's funny. Arcam, there it is. Save 60 million in wages. Yeah, we got a lot of wages off the books. Yeah, Evans and Lindelof and Eriksson alone were a lot of money. So appreciate that. Serum says Delit Maz. We're lucky to have. Yeah, I do like those guys a lot. They bring a lot of experience. They bring a lot of good mentality. I mean, Mazraoui always looks class. Delit, such a good leader. I Am Titanium says send Malacia to Malaysia. All right, big up. Lucky thinks Saudi clubs want him as well. Yeah, we saw some rumors a while back with some Saudi clubs. I don't believe I saw some stuff today from Al Nasser interested in somebody, but I think that was from like either Caught Offside, Give Me Sport, or Fakayes. I don't remember. I don't believe any three of those rumors though from those sources. So Bexy says Onana is Onana the worst signing in the last 30 years? I'm definitely for me, it's got to be a toss up between Anthony and Sancho. Sancho probably edges it just because of his attitude. But they're both too expensive. They both flopped. Neither of them delivered anywhere near what they did before we signed them. Onana is just definitely the worst keeper, like easily the worst keeper. He might be one of the worst keepers I've ever seen play football because he is absolutely garbage in between the sticks. He's so bad, man. Matt Hatter says my prayers have been answered. Onana and Hoyland gone in the same window. You guys are savage, bro. I don't know where Ederson went, man, because he's not a United player, Rob. So when they're not a United player, I don't tend to care that much what happens to them personally. Not like if they die or not. I'm just saying I don't care where they go. So I saw some rumors. I don't remember where he went though. Um, yeah, the Mount signing was probably up there with like Casemiro in terms of the actual decision to sign the player. Probably was pretty bad. Like Casemiro as a player, great. If we got him for cheaper, signed him for like a 3-year deal, or got him even for free, I would have had no problem with the Casemiro deal. It's just all three things: high wages, long contract, high fee. Just wasn't good. But yeah, Mount, anybody could have looked at that injury record and said, dude, I don't know. Dude, you might just want to go into punditry, Mason, because I don't know how long your legs are going to last in football, bro. Bexy wants to know what Ten Hag saw on Onana. What you see in Onana, why we got Onana, A, Ten Hag knows Onana, and B, Ten Hag's system building out from the back, goalkeeper almost as an outfield player. That's what Onana is good for. People will say we got him because he's good at passing, and that's not. We didn't get him because he can pick a ball from 40 yards. We got him because he's comfortable on the ball, and he can carry that ball out and kind of start the build-up from the back. So you don't have to worry about the keeper just launching it or the keeper just giving it to a defender for the defender's part. So there's not that delay in the build-up. Onana will do. The problem is Onana's so shit at everything else. You can say he's good on the ball. I'll give him that. I've never seen a keeper just Cruyff turn people in his own box. But his up here, just mentally, confidence-wise, he just doesn't have it. And so it almost negates that because you have to be confident and composed to build out from the back, especially as a keeper. And when you're just not mentally like strong and there's no resilience there and you don't focus, it doesn't matter. You just crumble and you'll mess up. And so the thing we got a new contract as well. Because what? So yeah, so reported Bache on the 14th. Again, so the last couple of days before this morning, I wasn't even going to talk about this because before this morning, all I heard about this was just I've heard it from a bunch of random like Turkish journalists that I've never even heard. And that doesn't mean just because I've never heard them doesn't mean they're not good. I tend to wait until I see stuff pop up from like bigger sources and whatnot. So I didn't want to bring it up till it had legs. So we'll see what happens. I hope there's some sort of obligation or some sort of cheap option because I can't be dealing with this in another year's time. We're not going to like Onana doing well at Trabzonspor is not really going to do anything in terms of getting anybody more interested in him next summer if it's only a loan. But you guys let me know what you think. You good if he leaves on loan? Are you good with keeping Bayindir as backup? You have to have 3 keepers, so we can't just be like, yeah, get rid of him and Bayindir because you can't just have Heaton and Lamens. You have to have 3 keepers. But if Onana leaves, surely that means Lamens is the starting keeper, right? We can't start Bayindir. Like you can't. Tom Heaton, I love the guy. Between Onana, Bayindir, and Heaton, I'm definitely probably going to start Heaton, but surely you're not going to start Bayindir over Lamens if Onana leaves. And so I think the writing's kind of on the wall there. And so hopefully, we're all going to see what Lamens is about. And you guys have heard me talk him up this like the last 5-6 months. Hopefully he delivers, or else I might have to cancel his channel and just go hide. You'll see the video and you'll just see me pop up over here on the side peeking like, yep, sorry, that was me. You guys are funny. Let's see. Bexy says, honestly, I think Ten Hag could be a good coach, but I've got a funny feeling he complicates things. Is it buffering, you guys? Interesting. Could be a YouTube thing. I was having some issues just watching stuff on YouTube earlier, I think. And I've seen other channels kind of having some issues with YouTube recently, too, just kind of going in and out. So, oh, no. He looks cute, though. I'd pinch his cheeks. He'd probably piss his pants if you did. So, but y'all, let me know if it's still buffering. I don't really think there's anything I can do about that, unfortunately. But Bexy doesn't think Lamens starts against City. Well, I did put a poll out on the channel. I want to see what you guys said in that poll. I did ask you guys, who do you think will start? Now, I didn't say who do you want to start. I said, who do you think will start against Man City next weekend in terms of goalkeepers? And let me see what you guys had to say about that one. 15 votes. 67 of you said that you think Lamens will start. Now, hopefully that was you guys saying he will start, not that I want him to start. Big distinction there. Nobody voted for Onana, like at all. Tom Heaton got himself a vote or two. Bindier came in second with 27%. So overwhelming landslide. 2/3 went to Lamens. So you guys have spoken there on who you'd like to see lining up. I would just throw Lamens in. There's no only one way to tell. Like it's City, they're probably gettable right now. We'll talk about that going into next weekend. I'm not worried about that. And I wish we would have had him in against Arsenal. We probably would not have conceded that corner. He probably would have just come out and punched that or grabbed it. Not saying 100% certainty, but again, looking at the fact that he's in like the top 1% for crosses claim, I think we can safely say that could have happened. It could have even happened against Fulham too. You never know. So let's see what y'all are saying. Football Freak says, we will hold accountable for Lamens. Awesome. Appreciate that. It's always like a big, I always have to roll the dice when I do these scouting reports and when I go hard on a player like Hackney or he who shall not be named, because you never know. You just never know. There are no certainties. And I try to tell myself that. You can sign the best. We thought we were getting gold when we signed Sancho. Now, I didn't really think we needed him at the time, but and there's a lot of reason to think that, right? Look at what he did in Dortmund. And then sometimes it doesn't work out. It just is what it is. So I'm just going to use that as an excuse all the time. So what you going to do? How do things at Bindier will more than likely start? I hope not. I really hope not. He's just so weak. Like, he's just so weak, man. He really is. He's so weak. I can't handle that, dude. Bexy says Euro is not in the French squad either, which is strange. Is he with the under 21s? He could just be with the under 21s. France are pretty stacked, especially when it comes to center backs. So it's going to be hard to get in ahead of like Upamecano and Konate or Pavard or something. So he might be with the under 21s, getting some minutes. So and Saliba could very easily be there too. But didn't Saliba get injured? If I remember correctly, didn't he get injured for Arsenal? Someone let me know. But I hope everyone is doing well. Let me go over here. So yeah, let me know. Loan, sale, Bindier, you good with him staying? Do you think Bindier to start? I mean, like I said, you have to have 3 keepers, even just for warm-up purposes. You have to have 3. Your starting keepers in net, your 2 backups are on either side, outside of like the halfway line, and you just do drills. That's how keepers warm up. You need 3 keepers to do that. Now, we may not have bought that midfielder this summer like we all wanted, but you can't say that Amorim and Ineos aren't making very necessary, ruthless changes. Onana gone, Rashford gone, Sancho gone, Antony gone, Garnacho gone. They're gone. Bye. Yeah, gone. Which I don't have a problem with. You guys voted going into the summer that was your biggest priority, was clearing the deadwood. We're clearing the deadwood. We're getting out of here. We're trimming the squad. We're trimming the rages. We are preparing for that next push into the next summer of, I think we're going to see a lot of midfielders, because we got to replace a lot of midfielders. And I do think that we could see some more business, maybe your right wing back. I would sell Dallo in a heartbeat. If Licha can't stay fit, we are going to need another center back. So, and then by then we'll have another year under these youngsters. You got guys like Sam Mather, Sekou Kone, who are like 20 years old. I think they could be good. Biancheri probably needs to go on loan second half of the season. Ibrahimov, like all these guys, we did that list. There was like 14, 15 youngsters out on loan this season. These players could get a shot next summer preseason. Some of them could become a part of the first team squad. Collier could still come back for I don't even know what's happening there. But you guys, do you like what you see from some of that? Do you think we're being ruthless? Do you think that it's not enough if we're not strengthening at the same time? We can't always do both. You can't always get all of it done in one summer. It's going to take time. Like I said, we got to build, not just buy. So let's see what y'all are saying here. Rob says City of a poor start. Let's help keep it that way. I'm telling you right now, man, I wish we would have played City this weekend. I think we could have easily gotten them. We were looking more and more like clicking, so like leading the league in so many metrics in terms of just like shots, touches in the box, XG, all that shit. Like, it's going to start clicking, and when it does, it's going to be great. That's why I didn't like the international break coming when it did. We were just starting to turn things around. Warbizo says, I hope our goalkeeping coach gets some drills going to practice corners and crowding around the keeper. Yeah, we need to start doing what Arsenal are doing when we get a corner. Bruno needs to get taken off him because he's shit at corners. Good on free kicks, shit at corners. What do you guys think of Mbumo's corners so far? Some of them, they're hit or miss. Again, Mbumo, he's new. You saw Bruno kind of going back and forth through him when Bruno was lined up on the 18 unmarked and the ball went into the box instead of out to Bruno. That seems like kind of a miscommunication on drills, but it is what it is. Yeah, I figured he'd probably get the under 21 CRM. Gavin Underwood, welcome. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Rob says Binder as a backup is okay. Hopefully Vitek replaces him next season. Well, it brings us to the topic that I do want to discuss today, which is all the keeper stuff. So you guys let me know what you think, because don't know if you saw my post, but Radek Vitek has been voted Bristol City's Player of the Month after an absolute stellar start to his loan, and we kind of knew it was going to happen. The kid's an absolute baller, man. Let me get caught up real quick before I move on, so I'm not playing super long catch up. CRM says Garnacho will warm the bench, the so-called Chelsea fan. Yeah, didn't they like Photoshop or do an AI or something to make him look like he was wearing a Chelsea shirt a long time ago? Like that Will Smith concert footage AI. Yeah, if you guys want to know what I think could happen to Garnacho this season, go check out that season prediction transfer window rating video I gave. He was one of my hot takes. Let me know what you think. Agile says Maguire 190K, Casemiro 350K. Have to go. Is he still on 350K? I thought that was down to like 300 or something. Interesting. Rob says Mbumo brings a different style of corner to Bruno or Ahmad, going to work more as the season progresses. Yeah, there's only two things I hate seeing on corners. Not beating the first man. That's inexcusable, personally. And I hate these when the corners go super high. Remember when Yanazai used to take corners for us, and it would look like a goal kick when you're trying to kill off the last seconds of a game. They would go out of frame. You couldn't see that ball, and then it would just come floating down. And I'm like, that's the worst corner ever, dude. You're getting way too far under the ball, man. You can't do that. That's just poor technique is what it is. Like, I don't like that at all. You have to put so much power in that. When the ball's not whipped in and it's coming down lofty or it's hit soft, all the power has to come from you as the recipient of that. You've got to put so much core power into that, so much something behind the neck to get any power on that. Whereas when it's whipped in, all you got to do is redirect it. You don't have to do a whole lot. And it's ridiculous, man. It was just poor technique. Sorry, went on a little bit of a rant there, but our game says I think the backup keeper is a specialist position in terms of mentality too. Happy staying on the bench, but ready to step in if needed. Romero was perfect. Yeah, Romero was excellent. He was one of my. If you guys remember when Dylan and I did the best post Fergie signings, Romero was on my list because he was free and he was excellent for us in the cup competitions when he was here. So big up Sergio Romero doing his thing. So Rob says you must hate Dallas, Sean. That guy seems incapable of not hitting the first opposition player. Dallas crosses just go into Rosette. Like literally, he puts he could get 20 crosses and maybe 2 of them would maybe get into the box. Dallas' final ball has just never improved. It just hasn't, and you can't. It just that's like unforgivable when you're a fullback and your final ball is that big. When you've been here for what 8 years now. To never improve your final ball, it's just so bad. His striking, when he strikes, it's just, again, it's poor technique. He's not striking it the right way you should. And I don't know how you can go that long without somebody pulling you aside. How many managers? We had like 5 managers since, all these different staff members, even teammates can't just pull. If I was Ronaldo or Cavani or like Lukaku with Dallo putting balls, I'd be like, bro, this is how you strike a ball. You get it with the instep, you put some whip on it, and you just put it into space. Don't try to pick me out. Put it into space, and then it's on me to put it in the back of the net. Don't worry so much about putting it on a dime. I'll get there. Like Dallo's, his striking technique is really bad. Let's see what y'all are saying here. CRM says I think Collier will play more games next year with been on loan, playing more games. I just worry because he's 21, right? He's older than people think, similar to Malacia. Malacia is 26 years old. He just looks like he's 8. So I think people forget about that. But if Collier was going to do it at this level at 21, like I just think I like Collier. He only played a handful of matches, but at 21, like now you're starting to get into that like Lingard territory. I think where you're like, yep, he's going to do it. He could be really good. Like you're 21, you're going to be 22. I think we should know by now what you're all about. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just like, why are you not here anymore? Big up Rob, always United. We got the Robs in the house tonight. Good to see you again, man. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend, enjoying your Saturday. CRM says Garnacho was the worst crosser we've ever had. When he crossed, I mean, how many times did he actually cross? I remember him putting one good ball in for McTominay, I believe, that McTominay scored from. But Garnacho is never, his first thought is never going to be to cross, right? I mean, let's be honest. He's like Rashford in that way. He gets the ball, no matter where he gets it on the pitch, whether it's 10 yards outside his own box or 10 yards outside the opposition box, he's like, I'm going to cut inside and shoot. And that's just what I'm going to do. We all knew that. I mean, we could see that from the get-go, man. Bexy hopes Cunha is back for City. He's training. He's on the bike. I think he's at a UFC event in Paris tonight, but he looked like he was doing his thing in the gym. I don't think it was that serious. It doesn't look like it was that bad. So hopefully we're going to be fine. So I like what I see. Bexy says my Garnacho looks like a bit. No, Garnacho looks like the lead singer from Goo Goo Dolls, Johnny Resnick. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Go check it out. I'll wait. If you guys want to go Google Johnny Resnick, I can do it real quick. Hold on one second. Oh boy. I could do it and put it on screen and show you guys what I'm talking about. Hold on a sec. Let me go find him. Oh boy. My computer. My computer does not want me to do that. You guys go find him. You guys can do it. Rob says crossed. It was shoot rather than the sensible pass. Yeah. It's always what it was. Rob says Shesko did 90 minutes last night. No excuse now not to start him. Yeah, Shesko. I think sometimes it does bug me when managers are a little too hesitant to start players. I don't know if it's an honest to God fitness thing or if it's just a worry, like no, they're not ready because like they need to learn more, or if it's like an arrogance, like there's no way they could master my system this early. And I also agree that we need to bring these players in early because they do need some time. There's a fine line there. It's hard to know where that line is. I think it looks different for every player. So, but yeah, I would definitely start Shesko. Start him from the get go. I mean, just let him play. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal. Bexy's Garnacho never. Yeah, that's a generational thing, man. I think I've seen so many kids now that they're not dumb. They're just post literate. They just don't read books. They just don't. I've been reading books since I was like 4 or 5 years. I love books. Clearly, I keep buying more. I really just need to stop buying more. I've got rid of more books than most people probably really ever buy. But yeah, it's a problem. It's good to read. You learn things. You learn how to write well. You learn how to speak well. You learn new words. You stretch your mind more than just the screen. I mean, I don't know what Instagram is like. As far as I know, isn't it just photos? So I don't know what it is, but let's talk about Vitek for a second. So obviously, Bristol City's Player of the Month. I did post that the other day. Again, this comes on the back of really some already stellar performances. Now, I got this from Statman Dave, but so far, no keeper in the championship has made more saves this season already than Vitek. He's made 15 saves from 19 shots faced. He's doing excellent. He's got the best save percentage, third for when it comes to saves per 90, third for goals prevented in the league as well. He's already been man of the match once against Charlton, and the supporters voted him as their man of the match against Hull after another excellent performance where he made a brilliant one-handed save to keep that game on the line. I think they won 4-2. So basically, one official man of the match, one supporters vote man of the match, and then player of the month already. And they're like a handful of matches into the season. And again, this is not new stuff from Vitek. This is not, and we've literally been talking about this guy all last year. Now, if you've been part of the community for a while, you know how highly I rate Radek Vitek and how we've been following his progress along during his loan last season at BW Linz in the Austrian League. He was man of the match 3 times last year. He was team of the week 4 times last year. 5th when it came for save percentage. 4th when it came to saves per 90. 4th for goals prevented. Basically, if you can't tell by now, Vitek is very good. He's tall, good reflexes. He's in the top 3% right now when it comes to high claims, and he's just 21, Vitek. He's still young, about the same age De Gea was when we brought him into this club. So the question is, and that's kind of what I'm getting at today, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, should Man United maybe have looked to Vitek instead of buying a new goalkeeper? Now, I put the poll in the chat to ask you guys what you thought. Were we wrong to maybe loan him out and buy Senna Lamens? So far, we've got 14 votes. 57% of you are in agreement that no, Lamens was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. And 36% of you say no, a loan is good for Vitek. Now, 7% of you so far say that yes, we were wrong. We should have used that money for a center midfielder instead. I hear every argument. That's why I put them all in there. But this is what we're talking about today. Now, again, before we get into the nitty gritty, I got to preface this by saying this. This does not mean I regret buying Senna Lamens. I am over the moon that we brought in Lamens. You guys know how highly I rated this kid. We've been watching him, scouting him for the last 4 months when we first linked to him. We did so many percentiles. We compared him to Donnarumma over the last 4 seasons and whatnot. We've done all this stuff, right? Wanted him for months. Not for 1 second do I regret signing him. I'd rather have Senna Lamens than not, if that makes sense. But still. Sorry, I just punched the microphone, y'all. Still, though, I want to explore, whether or not United maybe necessarily needed to sign him when, again, Vitek is there. He's balling out again. They're both very similar profiles. They're tall. They command their box. They claim those crosses. Very good reflexes, very good shot-stopping ability. They're very similar styles of keeper. Vitek is barely a year younger than Lamens. I think they're 14 months apart or something. And he's an academy product, Vitek, to boot, which, it almost makes too much sense right now. We don't have a great track record when it comes to promoting academy keepers. I don't think we've ever stuck with one of them, period. I think Tom Heaton is probably it, right? So if Heaton's in the squad, then our record is intact, right? To be honest, though, I think Vitek's promise is also, and I've said this a couple times on the channel towards the tail end of the transfer window, Vitek's promise is also the only reason I was even maybe 5% open to an Emi Martinez deal. For 30 seconds, I was about 5% open to that deal. So do some of that math. I thought, and I even posed this to you guys, maybe Martinez for a year wouldn't be so bad if Vitek, a year in the championship, if that's a good litmus test for Vitek, right? A year of Emi Martinez, we'll see what happens. Vitek will be ready. That thought didn't last long, though, because the moment we got Sen Lamens, I was like, fuck off, Emi Martinez. I'm done with you. Let's see what you guys are saying here. CRM says next year we could have Lamens and Vitek. Now you're getting into an interesting thing, though, where, is Vitek going to want to stick around and just be backup when he's clearly good? Vitek, if he continues on this trajectory, Vitek could have his pick of a lot of clubs next summer. We did just extend his contract before he went out on loan. So the question is, are we just kind of protecting the investment, making sure we don't lose him for next to nothing? Or is he a plan for the future? That's partly why, again, I thought the Emi Martinez thing could not be 100% the worst idea, because Vitek could be around for a while. Agile says Vitek counts as homegrown. We will keep him. I'm sure United rate him highly. I think they do. And like I said, yeah, he's homegrown. That's why we like him. I think that it makes too much sense. We just don't tend to do well with our academy keepers. Vitek and Lamens in the squad, we could have an interesting dilemma in years' time when it comes to team selection. Is there a world where both are happy to be in the squad, not starting, and are they happy with that? Was Lamens, again, too good of an opportunity to pass up? Should we have just rolled the dice on Radek Vitek? Maybe he's still just too young? He's still just 21. De Gea was about the same age, though. Is he too raw? Perhaps is he too untested in English football? No, he already did spend half a season on loan at Accrington Stanley a few years back when he did very well there. I think he got a clean sheet in his debut. But again, is that enough? He's doing well in the championship. It could go tits up. Who knows? I think that it won't, though. He also recently said in an interview, Radek Vitek, that his goal is to one day be Man United's #1 keeper. I like that. I like that he wants to be here. Now, we also did see that ambition from Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson thought he should be starting, and there are many that argued that he should. I think he probably would have had he not got COVID that final season under Ollie. You never know, right? Again, did United extend his contract, Vitek, just to maybe ensure we get some big money for him? As more often than not with shit like this, there's always going to be more questions than answers. We're hardly going to know the answers to any of these, but that's why I wanted to ask you guys what you think. If you're of the notion that Vitek is good enough, though, maybe you might have also been of the notion that, like the poll indicates, that maybe instead of buying Senna Lamens, maybe those funds could have been better allocated towards a midfielder. I don't think it would have made a difference for Baleba, though. I don't think, 18 million was going to be a big deal breaker for when it came to getting Baleba. That was going to be an expensive deal any way you slice it. So I hope Lamens can do it, says Bexy. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised with Senne Lammens. Give him time, as always, with any player. I mean, we've seen that Mbeumo, Šeško are just now starting to kind of show signs of acclimating. Šeško's probably a little behind. Cunha's ahead because he got here in June. We have to remember that it takes time. It isn't a Premier League football thing. That's a getting used to your team, the system, the manager, the change of scenery, all that stuff. It has nothing to do with English football and more to do with the fact that you just uprooted and moved halfway across Europe with a whole new team and everything. That takes time. There's no coincidence that Cunha looks, of those signings, looks the most acclimated already. CRM says Lammens to play league games, Vitek to play the cup games. Maybe in the future, but again, the question is, how long are both going to be happy if both are very good? Because if they're both equally as good, you're going to have to probably sell one of them and go get someone else to play backup or promote a youngster. You're not going to be able to keep two keepers like that happy with rotation. If we're in 4 competitions, if we're in Champions League, we're in the League Cup, we're in the FA Cup, we're in the league for all season, and you could split that, everyone's going to get like 35 games. Cool. Maybe you've got something there. You can give one person the cup games, the other person can play in the league. I don't necessarily think that you have to, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So, Bexley says De Ligt is the unsung hero. Yeah, De Ligt's captain material for sure. If Bruno goes in a year, which I think he will, I think you'll definitely see De Ligt get that armband personally. Let's see. You guys are talking about players right now. So what are your thoughts on Vitek? Again, what's the poll up to right now? So it's very similar still. I mean, more people are starting to vote for Vitek being on loans and Lammens being too good of an opportunity to pass up. So interesting stuff. But again, sometimes as I look around the transfer window, as we get these rumors, as I look at maybe how people are doing on loan, it is good to question. We did that video not too long ago, 2 months ago, on McTominay. And the question was, were we wrong to sell McTominay? Because, again, the press was all over us. Why is he doing so good? What's wrong with United? Doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with United. Look at the way McTominay was used at United versus look at the way he's being used at Napoli, and you're going to see a lot of differences. Plus, as big as club as Napoli are right now, they're not United. So there's a lot of factors involved. So, again, I think that the championship loan for Vitek could be a really good litmus test. I wanted to see how he does. He's already doing really, really well. Again, I read out those numbers. He's balling out. He's balling out way better than he should be for a 21-year-old. There was always that question mark when he was playing on loan at BW Linz. You're like, all right, we'll see. It's a smaller league. It's a little out of the way. The competition's not, but he's in the championship. And you guys know how I feel. If you can do it in the championship, odds are you got a pretty good chance of doing it in the Premier League. They're physical. They're longer season. It's the same conditions, oftentimes worse because the pitches and some of the championship sides, no offense, are not as nice. You're playing against grown, hard Englishmen who some of them have played Premier League. Some of these guys are Premier League footballers. They've just been relegated recently or something. And so the competition is good. And they're going to play a lot of these crosses, a lot of these corners, a lot of these big physical balls into the box that Vitek's got a good opportunity to really test his physicality and his attitude and his assertiveness on those. Are you going to come off your line against these guys? I mean, he's like 6.5 feet tall, Vitek, so he's got a good chance of winning those battles. But I want to see how he does. Let's see. Yeah, Rob, he did, man. That's why he's captain almost it was that 7-8 years ago. It's kind of like Ruben Neves in that way. Ruben Neves was captain in Porto when he was a teenager. Like, some of these guys are just leaders. Like, they just are. Rob says, it's always good to see a player on loan doing well. We loaned out a lot, and I hope to get game time. Yeah, of course, you guys know we will be checking in throughout the season with some loan updates and whatnot. We talked about that the other day. We've got players out there, Ethan Ennis scoring on his debut for Fleetwood. I'm excited. I'll get to see him play. Hopefully when Dylan and I go over there in December, we're going to Salford. They host Fleetwood, and Ennis is on loan at Fleetwood, so it'll be cool to see him play. Hopefully, I would love to swing it to go get a photo and say hi. I will share that with you guys if that happens, but I doubt it. But I am Titanium. Says, anyone watch the England game? Did Jed Spence play? I did not watch international football, bud. It is what it is. But let me know your thoughts on Vitek. Let me know your thoughts on Onana. Potentially, I'm sure we'll get more updates. Keep a lookout for the next episode of What If. It will be dropping soon. Don't forget the women's team do kick off tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. They play Leicester. If you guys are interested in supporting the women's team, no harm, no foul. If you're not a big deal. It is early. But yes, That's going to do it for us, guys. Go check out the season prediction transfer window rating video from on Wednesday. Keep a lookout for that next episode of What If, you guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. Check those memberships as well. As always, check out the new designs available in the United vs. Everybody store. There's a couple new designs in there. You guys can get your hands on that. They don't cost you an arm and a leg. And if you do want to go get your United jersey, you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, GoGoalShop. That's where I got this little number. Just got here today, this season third. You can get $5 off if you use the code in the video description to register. Always like to pump it up. You guys, I wouldn't promote GoGoalShop if I didn't think the quality was like top drawer, like serious. I was buying from GoGoalShop before I had the channel. They're a good site. So they were just kind enough to hook me up with that $5 off coupon for you guys. So but enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everyone. I don't know what you guys have planned tonight. I was going to maybe go watch Detroit City FC. They're in the USL. They are about 20 minutes from me. They play, that's on, I think it's going to be on Paramount. Could be on Amazon. I can't remember. But I'm going to go probably watch that. Have myself a Dragon's Milk because I do love Dragon's Milk. For anyone, you guys know I'm a stout guy. It's pretty much exclusively what I drink is stout. So Dragon's Milk is like Guinness, but of the two, though, I'm always going to choose a Guinness. Guinness is just like chef's kiss. But enjoy your day, you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you weren't able to catch the live, leave a thought in a comment. You guys know I check those comments. But enjoy Saturday. It is only 5:30. It feels a lot later. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. I will see you guys on the next one. I'll talk to you. Peace.